Okay, guys, now we are starting our workshops, and this is going to be the first workshop today. And we will talk about sustainable site and landscape. And our presenters our trainers are Tokcan Nusova, Yerdavlet Abov, İlyas, İlyas
Aydin Galiyev.
Aydin Galiyev, Botagaz Ahmedov, Ahmed Botagaz, please start when you are ready.
If you are ready, I'm going to start. Hello, dear audience. It's a big honor for our group to start these workshops. Today, we are going to talk about sustainable site and landscape. And please welcome today's presenters, Yerdavlet, Ilyas, Tokcan, and me. The sustainable sites and landscape category is about making decision based on having less impact on the environment, and it covers decision on making the time before construction even began, and ends with native landscaping and light pollution. Today, since we are the first group, we are going to cover general information about certification systems, and later on we will focus on sustainable sites and landscape. Today we will cover LEED, CASB, BREEAM, and Green Globe certification systems. And let me start from LEED. Leadership in energy and environmental design is the most widely used green energy system, and it was developed by United States Green Building Council in 1993, after which it was developed. And as you might probably know, LEED certification assess buildings on innovation, indoor environmental quality, materials and resources, location and transportation, sustainable sites, energy and atmosphere, and water efficiency. And today I'm going to focus on sustainable sites. Based on your points, based on your buildings earned points, you can get one of these certification. For example, if your building gets, for example, 55 points, you will get silver certification. If you get, for example, 85 points, you can get platinum certification, and so on. Going back to the history, in 1993 it was developed. Later on it has upgraded versions, and right now the most in use we have LEED version number 4, which was upgraded in 2019, and for now we use LEED version 4.1, and I'm going to show you one example on residential buildings based on this version. So LEED certification certify all types of buildings and all buildings phases, construction phases. However, it's not in our scope today. We will focus on sustainable sites and landscape. Rating scale in LEED, we have building design and construction, interior design and construction, building operation and maintenance, neighborhood development, homes, cities and communities, and we can recertificate our building again, for example, and we have LEED 0 for buildings too. So this is a project checklist for residential multi-family building. For example, we have one more single family building, but I took as example multi-family residential building. So here we can see requirements for getting LEED certification. For example, it's which I mentioned before, categories. Today we will focus on sustainable sites. In this category we have construction activity pollution prevention as required, as mandatory to have. We have site assessment, protect or restore habitat, open space, rainwater management, heat island reduction, and light pollution reduction. So every project has its own requirements and its own project checklist. This is especially done for multifamily. So more deeply to each category, subcategory intents I would like to speak about. Construction activity pollution prevention intent is to reduce pollution from construction activities by controlling soil erosion, waterway sedimentation, and airborne dust. Intent of site assessment is to assess site conditions before design, to evaluate sustainable options and inform related decisions about site design. Credit for protect or restore habitat, to conserve existing natural areas and restore damaged areas to provide habitat and promote biodiversity. We have got 1 point for open space too, which intent is to create exterior open space that encourages interaction with the environment, social interaction, passive recreation, and physical activities. Rainwater management intent is to reduce runoff volume and improve water quality by replicating the natural hydrology and water balance of the site based on historical conditions and developed ecosystem in the region. So for heat island reduction is intent is to minimize effects on microclimates and human and wildfire habitats by reducing heat islands. And the last is light pollution reduction, which intent is to increase night sky access, improve nighttime visibility, and reduce the consequences of development for wildlife and people. More deeply, if we have extra time, I will show you a YouTube video where this subcategories is explained more deeply. Since we have a lot to tell today to you, we don't want to load you too much, and we will see later on. If we have time, I will show you one video. This is examples. As you might probably know, we have in Nur-Sultan one building, which is a golden LEED gold certified in 2018. It's Talan Towers. For example, in Istanbul, we have Hampton by Hilton Hotel. And for example, in Chicago, we have platinum certified building stadium. As you can see, LEED not only for residential buildings, it's for all types of buildings. And for my site, it's over. I would like to give to my group mate, Erdaulet. He will tell you about comprehensive assessment system for built environment efficiency.
Thank you, Butagos. So I will continue with the second certificate, which is CASB, stands for comprehensive assessment for built environment efficiency. So could you move to the next slide, Butag? Next slide. No, please.
This one?
Yeah, after this. Yeah, so
Erdaulet, I made you co-host. If you like, you can share your own screen. Feel yourself comfortable to continue anyway.
Oh no, I will continue this way. Thank you. So the certificate is developed in Japan in 2001, and its mainly use is limited in the Japan and the China, and it is, I think, kind of simple and unique from other certifications for buildings that I have seen before. It is mainly evaluating the environmental performance of the building as it's written in its definition, and the person who, like certifier, usually gets certificate called CASB AP, accredited professional, like person registers and there is some training course, and then after taking examination, like the person will be eligible to certify with CASB. So next. So there are 4 scales in CASB tool. It is like, it starts from very small scale, like housing scale and the building scale and the urban scale. And when we consider like several districts, it may grow as even city scale. So since we are focusing on like separate buildings, so the for us relevant part is building scale. So among buildings, we have also subcategories. CASB for new construction, for existing buildings, for renovation, and the heat island relaxation, and for real estate. So since we are mostly focusing on residential buildings, so it will be relevant to work with existing buildings. Can you go next? So this is like how CASB is assigning scores to its subcategories. It has 6 categories, and 3 is for environmental quality and the 3 for environmental load. And the unique thing about CASB is that it clearly defines the boundaries of the system of building. For example, as you can see from this picture, there is a building, and there is some outside space, outdoor space, and it takes this boundary, and the environmental quality is refers to the quality inside this boundary, like indoor environment, quality of service, and outdoor environment. This is like what person may feel inside this boundary. And the environmental load is the load that this boundary is exerting on the outside of this boundary. So it's like energy use, resources and materials, and the offsite environment. This is also like what building is taking from the outside. So yeah, this is actually the score, assigning scores, how CASB rating scale works. As you have seen from previous slide, it takes building like this assigned score as BEE, which stands for building environment efficiency. So it is taken as Q over L, like environmental quality divided by environmental load. This is actually a concept that is proposed by some German scientists, like factor 4 concept, which like takes this kind of incompatible vector to describe the ranking. So as you might see here, the x-axis stands for load and y-axis stands for quality. And the BE table has like 5 scores, like very good, excellent, good, fair, poor, and poor, like from 1 to 5. So could you go next? Here is like CASB rating scale, like how they also usually graphically assess the building. As I said, it has 3 quality categories and the 3 load categories. And for a sustainable site and the landscape, this category lies within like several categories. I would say in load category, it is outdoor environment on site, and in quality category it is off-site environment. So these categories have subcategories inside, which has 3 subcategories, and the weight of them are equal among each other. For example, outdoor environment on site is preservation and the creation of biotope. And the second is townscape and the landscape, and the local characteristics and the outdoor amenity. So as I said, the scores are assigned for each of these subcategories, and the average is taken for the category. So this is how they assign the scores for each quality category and each for load category. And the chart that you are seeing here on the right is how they have assessed in the visual representation. Can you go next? This is the geography. As I said, it is very localized certificate, and mostly in Japan, and there are some separate cases in China but very limited as well. But we see that from the official webpage, I have seen that the number of buildings are growing by each year. So although it's just limited to the Japan, but they are expanding its use very aggressively. So here, like you can see the categories, UD, urban development, and other scale that I have shown before. So thank you. And the next, Elias will continue for BREEAM.
BREEAM is actually building research established environment assessment method. Work on
Louder, Elias.
Work on creating BREEAM began at building research establishment.
Please talking, we cannot hear anything.
Really?
Ilyas,
Do you hear? Do you hear me?
Is
I
Elias
can hear.
there is something wrong with your microphone, I think. We are not able to hear you.
What about now?
Better.
Okay, I will sit closely to microphone.
Yes, please.
Work on creating BREEAM began at the Building Research Establishment based in Watford, England in 1988. But the first time for assessing new office building was published in 1990. Also, it is the world's longest established method based of assessing, rating, and certifying the sustainability of the building. Actually, more than 550,000 buildings have been BREEAM certified, and over 2.2 million are registered for certification, more than 81 countries. Next slide, please. During more than 30 years, the BREEAM certificate has been developed. Several subsections has occurred. There is a list of current BREEAM certificates. Since we are considering a residential building in Nur-Sultan, we should focus on BREEAM International New Construction. Next slide, please. You may probably notice that all other certificates are relatively similar to each other, but grading systems are quite different. The BREEAM certificate has a rating range from acceptable to pass, good, very good, excellent, and outstanding. Furthermore, it is represented by series of stars. Additionally, BREEAM includes several sustainability categories for the assessment. Generally, it is energy, health, well-being, innovation, land use, materials, management, pollution, transport, waste, and water. Next slide, please. Generally, BREEAM work to raise awareness among owners, occupiers, designers of the benefit of taking sustainability approach. It helps them to successfully adopt sustainability solution cost effectively and provides market recognition for their achievements. Next slide, please. No. Hence, our task was to consider sustainability sites and landscape. I mainly focused on land use and ecology part of the BREEAM certificate. Generally, this section has 5 main groups, which are written below in a table. Firstly, we start the site section, selection. This part is more about has this site used before, then turn goes to ecological value of the site and protection of ecological features. This section assesses how its site selection was limited to intrude wildlife. The third step was neglected since BREEAM International New Construction to 2016. This part was considered as an inapplicable case. Then we have enhancing site ecology definition, which gives the same meaning as his name. And lastly, LE5, it is long-term impact on biodiversity. Actually, it describes how to minimize the long-term impact of the site on nature. Next slide, please. I could explain how BREEAM assess real buildings with difficult and like boring schemes and checklists, but I gathered all information and made a little example how to improve our assessment. Generally, we can support the drainage system. Also, if we will have green roofs and walls, it will give additional points. And also we should contribute to natural boundary protection, and we should make some corridors like wildlife corridors. Moreover, we should improve the health and well-being of people. Then we may enhance the visual appealing of the building. And lastly, we can like support local system and increase biodiversity. Next slide. Okay, thanks. Since we are group first, I would like to show how BREEAM is spread around the world. Actually, it's about more than 81 countries, where Kazakhstan is no exception. Next slide, please. Lastly, I would like to show the building that were assessed by the BREEAM certificate. Well-known structures are located very close to NU, and both of them have a quite good results. I think it's good achievement for Kazakhstani construction field, and hope the number will be increased in coming future. Then the next certificate will be explained by my colleague. Thanks.
Good day, everyone. Can you hear me properly? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I will continue with Green Globe certification system. And as all my colleagues said previously, we will give some background since we are the first presenters. Would you please, next slide, please? So the Green Globes is an online green building rating and certification tool, which is a voluntary standard and similar to LEED. And it is also based on BREEAM methodology, which is the first in this area. The Green Globe certification originated in Canada and developed by Green Building Institute. So the system has no prerequisites, and certain credits recognized as not applicable in certain projects. If you are interested in the further information, you can follow the link to the official website here. And the buildings are rated on the 1000 point scale across 7 categories. The assessment completed via self-reported online surveys and submission of document, relevant proving documents, and site visit from assessor afterwards to see the compliance of the documentation with the construction itself. So the system comprises mostly from 2 modules. The first one is the Green Globe for new construction and significant renovation, and the second one covers the sustainable interiors. Okay, thank you. The building that achieve 35% or more points, they are eligible for certification, and their environmental achievements and sustainability activities are appreciated by assigning a rating between 1 or 4 globes. Here you can see the percentage of each globe, the range of each globe. So the advantages of the system is in its flexibility. There is no mandatory requirements, and the assessor is only involved at the end of the project. Thank you. The system includes several types of certifications, like the new construction, multifamily, core and shell of existing buildings, and multifamily for existing buildings, and sustainable interiors. The Green Globes is a user-friendly web application that aids in improving and evaluating their performance. The project team evaluate their performance themselves. The project starts with an online questionnaire and assessing by third party the documentation and the surveys submitted. Afterwards, as I said, the assessor has a site visit to ensure that to compare the documentation and the construction itself, and then the certification and recognition part is followed. Okay, thank you. Since we are focusing on the assigned or on the topic of sustainable site and landscape, I will mostly focus on this area. So there are 7 categories that are evaluated during the evaluation system. The project management, site, energy, water efficiency, material and resource emission, and indoor environment. The site is the second category, which has 2 subcategories: development area and ecological impact. Here we describe the urban infill and urban sprawl. As you know, we are not wanting to sprawl the urban area too much, and as example, I can provide the more description about the brownfields. The brownfield, if you know, it's a site that is abandoned, idle, or underutilized commercial or industrial property. It can be also contaminated, and if the project team decides choose this site and take actions on redevelopment at the site, take actions on remediation of the site. So this is highly appreciated in terms of environment. So if we are considering ecological impacts here, we can see that site disturbance and erosion is evaluated, tree integration in the project, and tree preservation. If the site already has tree clusters or trees, they can be protected by root protection or tree protection fences. So this is very ecologically friendly actions that can be taken. Here also we consider heat island effect by calculating the heat absorbing construction elements and compare them to the greenery, trees in plants and so on. What about the bird collision? Here we can say that it is important to for project team to ensure that birds they perceive windows, for example, as the solid objects. So that is how we can help them to avoid any collisions or collapse. If the area is has a storm water flooding risk, so there should be taken some plans, taken actions, and some plans has to be elaborated for storm water management. Also, here we describe landscaping and exterior light pollution are assessed. So for your convenience, if you want to see how the points are allocated here, we have a link to the Excel file. So you can proceed with the point evaluation. Can you go please to the next slide? Thank you. So here I provide some examples from the urban infill and urban sprawl. For example, if it is located in a small small distance to commercial zone, so there is no necessity to prolong existing utilities, and that is how we can avoid any soil disturbance or erosions. And from landscaping, for example, here we can consider the questions comprise irrigation plan, the soil type, drainage, any structural limitations that exist. And for each question, there are points in the scale of yes, no, or not applicable if this is not applicable for this particular project. Can you go to the next, please? So in an effort to make this tool more user-friendly, the Institute turned this to questionnaire service-based rating tool, and now it is converted to the web-based format. This system has been elaborated in Canada and adopted by US. Mostly, primarily, this certification tool is used in North America. Unfortunately, there is no examples of using this system in Kazakhstan. At the end, I would like to compare these certifications tools. It is difficult to compare these tools since they have different logic, different structure, and for example, some same elements might appear in different categories, like public transportation is considered under energy in green globes, while the same element is considered in sustainable site in LEED. There is no site category in existing buildings for green globes, for example. Also, mostly in the scientific literature, mostly two systems are compared as it is represented here in the picture. So, however, these four have the same main idea of assessing the site ecology, site environment, and public transport accessibility, and minimizing any anthropogenic effect. So this is a comparison of the certification tools, and this is the end of my part. Yerdaulet, my colleague, will continue with the final remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Tozhan. So today we have covered 4 certificates, LEED, CASB, BREEAM, and Green Globe. As Tozhan said, they all cover the sustainable site and the landscape category, but they use like different terminology and the different assessment methods. Even sometimes we saw that here, like sustainable site and landscape, they were like in multiple categories, as in the case of CASB or some other certificates. So also they use different assessment methods, and for example, we have seen that in LEED they assign like maximum of 80 points, and CASB it assigns some letters like from 1 to 5, and like 5 it is S, and A, B plus, B minus, C, and BREEAM and Green Globe, they are assigning 100%, like the final score is given from 0 to 100. And their use is also very like different. Like as we know, LEED and the BREEAM are very global in the use, and we can see from today's slide that we have even in Kazakhstan some buildings certified with these certificates. And the CASB and the Green Globe, these are localized. CASB is, as I said, it's mainly limited with China and the Japan, and the Green Globe, it's mainly in US and the Canada. So today we have shown you how you can assess sustainable site and the landscape using these certificates. And I hope our presentation gave you an idea how you can use these certificates. Thank you.
And I would like to add, in Kazakhstan, in Nur-Sultan, we have one company, Tau Innovation Group, which is said in their official website that they assess on LEED and BREEAM BREEAM certification, but it's not advertising, just to mention. And since we have time, I would like to show. We decided to show you one video about LEED. I will stop sharing and restart it. Share screen. And can you see my screen with YouTube video? I'm going to start this.
Cannot hear.
Yeah, I think the Zoom cannot translate video. Maybe you can just send the link to the group, because
Okay, right.
Hence, we cannot able to show our video. We have a Kahoot test. I would like to share my screen first. Then,
I shared this video. Yes, we can see.
okay. Please, students, can you type this pin and join to our small game? And we will know who listened most carefully us.
Okay,
Sorry,
first time, how I am going to get this Kahoot?
I think they have to send the link, Professor, with the password.
You see, this is the pin. Just go to the www.kahoot.com.it and type this pin.
Okay, just give me 1 second.
Since the number of participants is 21, except us, should be 17. I can start probably. Good luck.
All right, good job.
It's the same two answers in this question.
Sorry for inconvenience. From the
Yeah.
screen, you may see that the 3 leaders of our Kahoot test. Congratulations, Kakila. And Professor, if it's possible, give some extra marks for those guys who are listening most carefully us.
Okay, interesting. I just noted them, but I don't know who is Dan and Becca. It's clear to Dan.
Daniel, please write to.
Daniel. Okay, interesting experience for me. I have never done a Kahoot before. My kids were doing it in their courses, I remember. Okay, guys. Do you have still things to add?
No, we have this video on YouTube, which we wanted to share. It's good to, and that's all.
Okay, guys. Now it is time for question and answer session. I am pretty sure that you have several questions because on Thursday you are going to develop your own assessment factors and indicators. So you have to digest and understand everything on the assessment methodologies. And please start asking questions and don't be shy because those are people, they are considered as expert in site assessment and site development and assessment part. So yeah, it is now question and answer session. Please go on and ask anything. I am particularly interested in that your presentation was good. I think I captured the overall idea and I have the criteria and indicators and factors in my mind. And I think I can suggest some useful factors for Kazakhstan, how to assess. But me, myself, not clear at the moment, what is the methodology to assess each factor, okay? So the factors are over there, but I am not pretty sure at the moment how to assess them. So this is my particular questions. Maybe you can answer.
Potagos, I'm going to answer this question.
Please go on.
As I mentioned before, each building has its own requirements, and it's special. They created special guidelines on each type of building. I can even show you. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen with USGBC?
Yes.
Here we have like latest version, the latest version. Here we put, for example, take this. We choose residential buildings, press it, and here we have some explanation, and here we have guidelines. For example, let's took multifamily guide. We need to load it, and here in guideline there are explanation about how to get, for example, requirements for each subcategory. For example, a sustainable site prerequisite, which is required construction activity pollution prevention, with the requirements, guidance, step by step, how to get it. And this is for all subcategories, the requirements, for example. And even here we have like required documents. We have some tables with, for example, where is it? So if we talk about rainwater management, here we have like tables, points for percentile of rainfall retains, and for each subcategory we have guideline. So it's about, if we are talking about LEED system.
Yes, the documents have explanations, but okay. So you are telling us that go and check by yourself.
Can I add from my side, Professor? Since the person who are making the assessment by certain certificates, they should be professional, certified person, like educated, and there's a lot of details which we should considering during our assessment method. And for example, if only I will talk about BREEAM, about sustainability, site and landscapes, it took a lot of time because we have a very long list of procedure, and like since we have four
So-
different.
So what do you suggest in this case, Ilyas? Are you suggesting that in the workshops, we are supposed to not go into details of the assessments for each category, but we should identify the parameters only? This is what you are suggesting?
Since we are first group, we were thinking like to show the most important parts of our project, and maybe other students have some suggestion how to improve our approach, like how to present more clearly.
Actually,
You know, okay, what I am trying to say, the whole idea is that on the next stage, we are going to make a kind of a list of assessment criteria for Kazakhstan, okay? So it's not a kind of randomly or just selecting the same categories or same indicators from the lead, BREEAM or other stuff, okay? So we are not going to just select them. This is not what we will do. What we will do, we will make a kind of careful evaluation for each parameter, and we are going to make a set of indicators and factors. It is the roundtable discussion, what we are going to decide, I mean, what we are going to do. And in this case, if I am in the roundtable discussion, I really know that how to evaluate one parameter to put it there. Because if I am not sure how to evaluate it, it doesn't sound right to put it there. Maybe it is not possible to evaluate for Astana. I don't. Did you get it? What I'm saying? I mean, while you are adding one item or while you are removing one item, you have to be sure that how it is assessed. What are the main principles of assessment of those parameters? So in this case, you are the experts on this category now. You are training us. What you will suggest us? How we can consider each parameter if they are feasible or not for our case?
Can I add?
Yes, go on, please.
I would like to share the presentation again. And here, I have added the Excel file, which has some extracts from the online questionnaire. So here we can see that there are certain criteria with the scale yes, no, and if these are not applicable, there is some points where there is no applicable. So these criteria parameters can be taken as a starting point. For example, if we're talking about the Astana, we can certainly use the urban infill and urban sprawl, and there is a brownfield area up besides behind the Han Shatir, which can be evaluated because behind the Han Shatir, the site has been remediated, and we have buildings, residential buildings there. So these parameters can be applied as a starting point for discussion in for Astana, for example. And this presentation will be uploaded to Google
Okay.
Drive.
Tokcan, exactly, this is what I am looking for. Also, I put it in the chat. We need such criteria. So what I am suggesting you, I kindly ask you to add one more slide, which is a kind of summary of 4 methodology with the factors, indicators, and maybe a checklist items for each indicators. I mean, it is going to be a kind of task. I mean, okay, we are not going to. I know that all indicators should be assessed by engineering perspectives. Ilya said that it requires a kind of high level of experience. I agree. You are engineers, all of us. We have that experience, okay? But the only thing is that we should know that how to assess. And my best of my understanding is that a checklist would be enough at this stage. So for a checklist, what kind of criteria we have to put it there? And you just showed us in the earlier slide a nice example. I think if you click on this Excel, it appears, I think, I don't know, on the slide. So if, for example, a question like this one, thinking that way, rainwater harvesting. If the group discussion group, round discussion group is adding rainwater harvesting system, what kind of checklist item they are going to check? Only availability of rainwater system or not? Or maybe you are going to ask that is there any drainage system or rainwater collection? Yeah, I mean, is it used for gardening? Is it used for, so what I'm saying that there should be some items, a kind of checklist, then people are going to give checklist items some points, like 1 point, 2 point, and at the end, each category, each factor should collect some points. So this is your session at the moment. You are the first group. That's why we have to clarify everything today. And it is a kind of example for the others. What you will do, you can create as a kind of one slide or maybe extra slides summarizing the criteria and factors, and maybe some items to check, to measure each item, a kind of checklist item. So maybe typical question could be asked: is there available? Is it okay? Is this at this level? Such questions we can add as a kind of checklist item, and while checking all those items, we can make a kind of assessment for the criteria given. This is what I'm thinking at the moment. But if you have better idea, please suggest. Okay.
You need to
Wanna
provide
be the only guy
checklist.
asking questions. Please keep asking, because it is you will develop the roundtable products. Okay, so you have to have some questions.
Professor, can I add?
Yes, Yerdole, please.
Okay. In case of in case of Casby, I have such problem that I have figured out later. Let me share the screen. Someone is sharing the screen. Tojan, can you please? Okay.
And also,
can you
I am
see
going to
this?
upload the files when they send me. You can find all the details on Moodle, and you can check it out by yourself, guys. Okay, go on, Yerdole, please.
Okay. Actually, I had a like small brochure of the CASB for criteria and the sub criteria, but when I want to go into sub criteria, which are a lot, I actually couldn't go, because when I tried to download this technical manual, it is asking for password. I think it requires some license even
I
for
see,
checking.
but it's not necessarily. We can create those checklist items. I mean, you can suggest those. For example, if something is obvious, make a brainstorm. That's the logic of the roundtable discussions. People can suggest. For example, give us one example of the items in the check in the file. Just give one example. You said that the sub criteria are not available. For example, if people suggest one criteria, I don't know, heat island effect, okay? And then heat island effect is obvious. We can find, I mean, you can in the roundtable discussion suggest some checklist items. For example, you say that if the shading of the building building has some extra shadings, the color of the building, the roof of the building. Yeah? So you can you can add some items by yourself in roundtable discussions, because we all have engineering backgrounds from different level.
So here, Professor, for example, criteria and the sub criteria. But for example, this preservation and the creation of biotope, it has some internal sub criteria which I cannot access. So therefore, I just
exactly. These are what I am asking. For example, if you add preservation and creation of biotope, That's okay. So what kind of questions you will ask in the checklist? Check it out, okay? So if it is, for example, I mean, sorry, it is the whole idea of the brainstorm. I mean, brainstorming is this, okay? This is what we are going to focus. So what we will not do, we will not just copy the others, I mean, the certification systems, and we will not put them together. This is not what we will do. What we will do in the next stage, we are going to create our own ideas and we will put them together, okay? This is the whole idea of the table discussions. So what I am asking you, just prepare a kind of some stuff for us, a kind of questions, factors, indicators, and maybe some sample questions, okay, to evaluate. For example, what kind of questions you can ask for preservation and creation of biotope. Put some sample questions over there and make a list for us. Then we can see easily that your assessed systems are focusing on which parameters and how they are assessing it. Later on Thursday, people are going to put everything together on the table, and then they will create their own assessment criteria and the checklist for each criteria. Okay, this is what we are going to do.
Professor, may I
clear?
clarify?
Who is that
Uh,
talking? Ilyas?
What I understood from your words, for example, I think that all certificates have this manual, like the checklist, and you're talking about that if we're choosing the site selection, we should comparing those questions, criteria markings, and marks. All of
Exactly.
this.
This is what we need to see. I mean, in order to understand that, for example, what is this? It is bleed.
This is BRIM.
Okay, Brim. And now I see that on the screen, Brim is evaluating this parameter. Site, it's too small. Sorry. I don't have my glasses. Anyway, site, yeah, site selection. And there are criteria over on the next, I mean, on the next column. And this is how it is assessed, the checklist. This is exactly what we need to see. And this is for Brim. Prepare a kind of a couple of slides for us to see the whole picture in each assessment methodology. Then it will give us a kind of very generic, I mean, very good idea what kind of parameters we can put together in the roundtable discussions to create something for Kazakhstan. Okay, is it this is my suggestion anyway, based on my experience. This is the best way. And guys, please send your slides today, okay, when it's ready, and I am going to upload it on Moodle, and I will send an email to everybody that people can access it. And
Okay.
do you have any
Can I
more
ask
questions?
question?
Aralim, go on.
Like we are going to have 6 workshops, and each of them will be considered as one part of evaluation of whole building. And I want to ask the presenters how much points out of 100 you think landscaping is important. Oh, should I repeat?
I think it is a very good question, Aralim. Thank you very much. My understanding is that we are going to have 6 categories, and the weight of
Yes,
the category itself, what should be?
yes.
Professor,
Okay, now just wait. We are waiting for the answer.
okay.
Winners.
Yes, it depends on the certification tool. For example, in Green Globes, out of 1000 rating scale, 150 goes to site.
Oh, it's more than 10%, right?
Yes, so it
So in
doesn't
this
mean
case,
that
Tokcan, can I kindly ask you that, could you please add the percentage share of each that category while you are adding a slide for us as a kind of summary, okay? So it would be better if you see that which system is given how, in terms of percentage, how important it is, okay? So it would be interesting to see.
yes, I have this on the slide actually already. I can share it again. Can you see the screen? Here we can see that they changed from 115 to 150, the share of the site inside the rating scale. So there are 7 categories and each of them has the share and emission. Yes, so we have this on the slide and we will develop two or three more slides with the subcategories and the rating scale. Yes, like yes, no, or
Tokcan, is it correct that, for example, in this system, it is 15%?
150.
Total score is 1,000 and you have 150, so it is 15%. So it would be good to see that, for example, it is 15% for lead, it is 20% for Kaspi. What are the percents for this site category? It is a good question, Alim, thank you. Because every roundtable groups should decide that what is the percent effect of this group in the overall assessment. So they are going to decide, because based on the Kazakhstan, if you think that site development and landscaping is one of the most important criteria, then maybe they are going to say it's 20%. Or if they think that it's not that important when compared to others, they are going to reduce it. So it is good to have such a comparison in a table, in a slide. Okay, thank you very much. And Navid, you had a question. Please go on.
Professor, I just wanted to ask that, is it possible for the presenters that share the presentation, today's presentation, in order to make it more clear?
I think you missed the parts, because they clearly said that they are going to share it. Anyway, they will update it and I will put it on Moodle, okay? So you will download it. It is a routine. It is a routine. All the presenters are going to share, and you will find it on Moodle, okay? We will do it. This is a part of the workshops. Any more questions, please, guys? If you don't have a question, we can stop now, but this is your opportunity. Aralim asked very good question. It is directly related to methodology, what you are going to do on next time. And if you have any questions in your mind, please go on and ask, because we have the experts now. So guys, one more alternative for you. You know, I said that those presenters are not going to get credits, I mean the marks in the roundtable discussions, because they are going to collect their marks on presentation and binding, okay, of all the reports. What we will do, because I can consider that those are the experts, they already learned lots of stuff. So during the roundtable discussion, maybe they can not stay in one group, they can move from group to group, okay, because we are going to have 4 groups and they can switch. I mean, for example, Yerdaulet, please go one group, Botagoz, you will go to another. I mean, don't stay both of you in the same group, okay? So you may even ask me to make a kind of switch. You can switch one group to another group, room to room, because you have experience and maybe you can share your experience with others to support their, okay, thinking. It is one suggestion for you. And we have 4 groups of roundtables and we have 4 experts. Maybe those are the experts. They can move around, okay? They can help people. This is what we will do, okay? So Yerdaulet, Botagoz, Ilyas, and Tokcan will be available for us on Thursday as experts, and they will be in the discussion groups supporting us with their best experience and learning. I mean, from the methodologies they reviewed. This is what I suggest also for the next
I
day.
have a question.
Yes, go on, please.
So we have to put some extra information to slides about sub-criteria, yes?
Yes,
And
please. This is what we need. I mean, while we are deciding that which parameters, I mean, just make a kind of summary table for us. Which assessment methodology has what kind of factors? Okay.
But checklist will be prepared by
Checklist
students.
could be complicated, as you said, but Tokcan showed us that it is possible. Okay. So find a way. If you can do that, it will be nice. Okay.
Okay.
If it is not that easy, still you can provide some links for the checklist of each assessment. People can go there and check it out by using the links, okay? It may also work. The links may work too, okay?
Professor, I heard a good idea from you. Like, is it good if we make some summary table and we'll provide links for detailed information?
Yes.
They may able to link, like click this
Yes, this is what I am suggested. Yes, exactly. It is a good idea to add a kind of summary table with links, okay?
Since we have different criteria, like we
Yeah,
will
exactly. So that is a challenge. Ilyas, this is not an easy. I mean, that's why we are making roundtable discussions and workshops. I mean, there are different methodologies. People created significant different approach than each other in those certification systems. And now we are trying to digest all of them and suggest something just specific for Kazakhstan. This is not an easy challenge. And you are right. I mean, there are differences. These are the things what we like to see. And there are similarities. And if there are some similarities, for example, there is one common criteria in all, it's easy decision. We are just going to put it there because it's something common, okay? So that's why we like to see that a kind of summary table and maybe links for the checklists. Okay, guys, I am satisfied with the training part today, and I don't have any more questions. And again, if you have questions, please ask now. It is your right. And if you don't have any question, it is very timed presentation, like 1 hour and 15 minutes as it is planned. We can stop right now if you want. Okay, guys, thank you very much. It was very successful presentation. I liked all the way you presented, and I think you will be awarded with 5 points directly, if all of you 4, and still you are supposed to collect 2.5 point extra, but it is not now. It is going to be a kind of effort after collecting the roundtable discussions. You are going to bind it, okay, into one document. Okay, thank you very much. It was a good presentation, and it's a good start. It's a good example for all. See you on Thursday, and we will continue on Thursday with roundtable discussions in 4 different groups. Okay. Okay. Thank you, and it is the end of the session today. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.